Is moving to Florida worth it? That's a question that you may ask yourself and that you may ask others. If you are someone who lives in a different state in America and you're thinking of moving to Florida, or if you live in a different part of the world, maybe even. Because Florida is, on average, the most visited place in the world for tourism. I lived in New Jersey for most of my life for 37 years. And over the course of the past several years, I tried to reposition my life so I can live in Florida, move from New Jersey to Florida. The first step to is it worth it? Because for me, not to beat around the bush, the answer is yes, it has been worth it for me to move to Florida. And I'll explain now in detail, but I don't want to keep you on the hook. The first step is the first step to repositioning yourself to move to Florida is securing an income. Securing an income, being able to obtain a job and secure it first. Now, there's some people that move to Florida and don't secure a job first and they end up figuring it out. So again, this is just my experience and my perspective. What I've learned in life is no matter how simple you live in life, you will always need income. And being that is what it is, that's the number one priority to reposition your life. Applying to a job that's located in Florida or applying to a job or trying to get a job transfer where you can work remotely. Now that we're in a technology era, more and more jobs can be done remotely, but it's still a small percentage of overall society. And on average, in my research and looking around, the pay scale, what jobs pay in Florida is lower versus other parts of the world, and definitely lower than New York, New Jersey, or California. With that being said, there's some areas of Florida where the cost of living is lower. Houses and taxes are lower. But also there's some parts of Florida that housing is just as much, if not more. It's all relative. But I think secure a job. It took me 2 years to do it, but I was able to secure a remote position with the company I have been with for 10 years. I used to have to report to an office every day. Now I can work remotely. But that being said, I do think about and I thought about, well, if I lose my job or if I had to get another one, you're going to want to think about where can you obtain another one in Florida in a similar field, so you know kind of where to position yourself if you don't live mobile. Like I live mobile because of my unique circumstance, but it's like any other place. On average, the most jobs are concentrated by the biggest metropolitan areas. And in Florida, on average, that's Miami, Jacksonville, Orlando, and Tampa. Those four areas, Miami area, Jacksonville area, Orlando area, and Tampa area, within a 45-minute radius of those metropolitan areas are where the most jobs are concentrated. Certainly you can get jobs in other parts of the state, but that's where the bulk of it is. And so it's also congested. It's also a little bit crowded. Definitely Miami. Miami's very crowded. But visit the state. That's the second part of it. Visit. Because the state is a huge state with regards to land mass, how big it is. And it has different feels. There's a lot of the state that's actually agricultural, farmland, rural land. Of course, on the coast by the beaches, it's a tourist area, retirees. And up north, Florida, is a little bit more a southern state feel. There's a saying I've heard that the further south you get in Florida, the more up north you get as far as culture. So, you have to understand that. And there's nothing wrong with the difference. A lot of times when people talk about the different parts of the state or different, they compare it to what they like and then they mock it if it's not what they like. But, life is all about beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So what you may love, someone else may despise. So that's why, for me, I like Southeast Florida the most, but that's my opinion and my perspective. You may like Northwest. So explore it and understand yourself and what culture you like, what environment, after you've figured out how you can figure out making an income in that area. So you got an income, you did the research on what part of state you want to move by visiting to, looking online, yes, but also visiting, talking to people, visiting. And then 3, just bite the bullet, because you're not getting any younger. And what I have seen as a tragedy here in Florida is that most people who retired here and spent most of their life working up north or in a different state, they are too old to do the physical activities that Florida has to offer. You will not see on average 60, 70-year-old people that are collecting their pensions out there windsurfing or paddleboarding or kayaking. They're not. What they're doing is they're trying to find a doctor that's in their plan and close to their house. And what I can tell you is driving is very dangerous in Florida. It's the highest, it has the highest car insurance costs of just about any state in America because there's people from all over the world, all over the country, and it's a little bit dangerous on the road. I'm not going to lie to you, on average. So, you're older, you're trying to get to the doctor's office. I mean, that's the reality of, I spent a lot of time around the elderly. That's the reality. Certainly you can still enjoy life. Certainly it's still a great place to retire. But why I tried to downsize and reposition my life when I was mid-age, because I saw that reality. I saw the reality of is when you're in your 60s and 70s, no matter how well you take care of yourself, your physical body deteriorates. And your ability to do the outdoor activities, which that's what Florida is about. Outdoors. I'm sweating now. I just got done from a walk. I was so inspired. I want to make this. And that's why I got the hell out of Jersey, because the cold winter, dreary months would just hurt me mentally. I couldn't get outside and walk. I couldn't feel the sun. I couldn't enjoy outdoor activities. And that's good for your mental and physical health. And in the summertime, the Jersey Shore was crowded. The culture, it just wasn't what I wanted. No disrespect. But I think you need to keep those things in mind, what I just shared with you. And I think you need to live life responsibly, but with a level of urgency. And for me, the answer is yes. It has been worth it to move to Florida, and I would recommend it based on the things I just discussed. But you have to know yourself. You have to own your own decision, and nothing is perfect. Nothing is perfect. Nothing is perfect. You're still going to wake up sometimes and feel sad in Florida. And everything is life, There's no way you're going to move in this world that you're not going to be sad or you're not going to go through reality. But there's better and worse. And what's better for you and what's worse for you, only you know that. My opinion is Florida's better for me. And if at some point it wasn't, then I would change. Or, and that's the other part about life. I mean, look, if something happened and you really didn't want to, then you change. But if you do things responsibly, if you secure a job first, if you do this, if you, and sell your properties and downsize before you do anything, because, once you have all your assets liquid, you're more flexible. Don't go trying to buy another house when you still have a house, because that's how you get in a jam. This is my thoughts, my perspective on moving to Florida in general speaking terms. I may do more videos as I make this, but I'm starting to sweat like a river over here. But I like that. I like to sweat. I like it hot. Some people don't like it hot. Some people just like Florida for a couple months out of the year. Then maybe you're better off just coming down here for a couple months out of the year. For me, 90% of my time I want to be in Florida, and 10% of the time I'll travel maybe a little bit here and there. My opinion, my perspective, I love Florida. Somebody give me a palm tree emoji and thumbs up. God bless.